Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So the story of Phil Jones at Manchester United is officially coming to an end. His contract is up at the end of the season. Manchester United will release him. And after over a year since we last seen him in a Manchester United shirt and a career that's been hit by injury after injury after injury, Phil Jones's career at Manchester United and his time is up. And he could possibly be heading for retirement as well. And it is a real sad story. It is a heartbreaking one. A player that came to Manchester United from Blackburn for around £16 million, if I remember correctly, in 2011. He came to the club. He won the Premier League a few years later. And he was touted by Sir Alex Ferguson as someone that could go down as one of Manchester United's best players ever. Fergie wouldn't just say that about anybody. This player was a player that was supremely talented. You know, he had the world at his feet, but through injury after injury, never being able to get himself going, his career's come to an end, and it'll be a career of what ifs and buts and maybes and, question marks of what he could have done. Because he was without doubt a huge talent. I remember the excitement when we signed him from Blackburn, thinking, this is someone that could become a key figure for Manchester United over the years. And you look back at some of his performances as well. I remember one of his performances against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. He was absolutely incredible in Fergie's last season. And we obviously went out the way we went out, and that was disappointing. But if United had gone on to beat Real Madrid and who knows what else from there, that performance would have been remembered as an absolutely huge one, and one of the performances that helped us get there. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be that way. And it's kind of been the same for his whole career. He never got to live up to that potential. And he never really even got to kick as much football as he would have imagined. Now, he of course lived the dream. And in a letter to the fans, which we'll go through in a bit, he speaks about, the fact that he got to wear the shirt. He got to live the dream. And I'm sure we're all, jealous of that. And a lot of people will speak about the money that he made. He's on huge contracts, this, that, and the other. United extended his contract probably when they shouldn't have. And I agree with that. I've criticised that decision in the past. But it's not just all about money. And these guys, have worked hard, sacrificed to get themselves to a position. And I can only imagine how disheartening and heartbreaking it must be. Every time you get yourself back from an injury, you have another setback, you have another injury, you have to watch your teammates. And he's gone on to say he couldn't look at some of his teammates in the face because he couldn't help them. And a lot of us think, he's injured again. It must be his fault, or he's not pulling his weight, or he's not trying as hard. It doesn't seem to be the case with Phil Jones, and he just seems to be someone that's been just massively unlucky with injuries. And it's one of those heartbreaking stories in football. Although, of course, he got to lift the Premier League, he got to lift a couple of Community Shields, the FA Cup and the Europa League. 229 appearances for Man United and 6 goals. He did live the dream, but it could have been so much more. And we'll go through that time. We'll go through his statement as well. He joined in 2011, Phil Jones. This is the tragic story of it. He joined in 2011 as a highly rated youngster. We know that already. Sir Alex said he was one of the best youngsters he's seen. £16.5 million deal, 5 years. He made his debut in that memorable Community Shield win over City. Remember, we're 2-0 down, we win 3-2. And he started quite well. Got some assists for Wayne Rooney. I remember those 2 in a game. He started like a house on fire, looked really good. Played in a game against Liverpool in midfield. And that showed you the kind of respect Fergie had for him to put him in midfield against Liverpool when he's a centre-back. It shows you how good he must be, how talented and flexible and all those kind of things he must be. But also the intelligence that he has. And Fergie wouldn't just stick any player in midfield against Liverpool. Fergie took those games deadly serious. And then in 2012, back and knee injuries kept him out for the start of the season. And he returned in November in 2012. The 2012-13 seasons, he made 24 appearances as United won the league. An ankle injury disrupted the end to the season. So you're already looking at, the season where we win the league. He makes 24 appearances, we win the league. Back injuries, knee injuries, ankle injuries, all sorts of injuries which hamper his campaign. The 2013 season was the season when he had that. The 2012-13 season was the season when he had that unreal performance at the Bernabeu. And Fergie, Not long after that, goes on and says he could be our best player ever. 2013-14, the first season without Fergie, he plays 39 games in that season. He'd never go on and play more than that in a single season. He played over 20 a couple of times after that, handful of times after that, but he'd never go on and make more than 39 appearances in a season. 13-14 season, that was the season when Moyes came in. He had a knee injury which made him miss 4 matches and then ended the season with a shoulder injury. So even though he made 39 appearances, he still missed a lot, or some of the season through it. 2014-15 season, this is your Van Gaal era now. Hamstring injury, month out, shin and ankle injuries as well. Meant he missed periods as well. So more injuries. In 2015, we give him a 4-year deal. Again, it was extended after that. I don't think the 2015 deal is the issue. I think the issue was the one that came, was it just before Ollie or just around when Ollie was in charge as caretaker manager? That was the one that was horrendous because there was just no sense in it. In 2015-16, he had 4 different injuries, which meant he missed a combined 32 games. They were all mainly ankle injuries. But 15-16, he misses 32 games. 16-17, knee and toe injuries, which keep him out for 23 matches. So you're seeing he's not even just getting one injury, he's getting all sorts of different injuries. And you got to remember at this point in time, United are chopping and changing manager. So every manager's coming in and seeing, this guy's injured. Moyes sees it. Although he has his best season for Moyes in terms of number of appearances. 14-15, Van Gaal comes in. 15-16, win the FA Cup. Van Gaal seeing it. Then Mourinho comes in. I think Mourinho was linked to him actually when we signed him from Blackburn, if I remember that correctly. Maybe Chelsea were just linked with him, but I remember Chelsea were after him. I can't remember if Mourinho was there at that point. But 16-17, knee and toe injuries, which kept him out for 23 matches combined. 2017-18, hamstring injuries, keep him out for 13 matches total. He starts the 18-19 season with a hamstring injury. He suffers a knee injury which sees him miss 454 days and 78 matches in 1920 in the 2019-20 season. 2020 to now, he's leaving at the end of his contract. We last seen him in that game against Brentford. I remember an appearance against Wolves. I think we lost in the game at Old Trafford where he come on and the crowd was singing his name. Always believing. It's so sad, man. It's actually sad the amount of injuries he's had. Over 22 injuries. He's missed around 300 games. Plus, between joining the club in 2021, he missed 205. So as many games as he missed since then, on top of that. And it's quite sad. In September 2021, Phil Jones opened up on his injuries. And he said, I think as a footballer and as a person, as a human being, that's the lowest I've ever felt in my life. And since 2019, he's appeared in 13 matches. He does leave having lived the dream, but it will all be ifs, buts and maybes for him and total, disappointment. Although in the interview that he did, obviously he's come to terms with it. I'm sure there would have been a lot of tears, blood, sweat and tears along the way. He says he'd done as much as he could. Whatever the medical team asked of him, he did. So I'm sure he's come to terms with it now and he's got a strong family unit, but it must be so gutting, man. He says, to wear this shirt just once, to wear this badge and represent everyone associated with United, it was an honour. I wish I could have played more. I wish I could have given more to the squads I played alongside. I will say from the bottom of my heart, I did everything I could. I did everything the medical team asked of me. I never left a stone unturned in the pursuit of living my dream and having the opportunity to represent Man United. I spent some difficult days away from my family, rehabilitating and recovering away from everyone, recuperating from the training pitch, which I was desperate to get back to. I said that before. I even found it hard to speak to my teammates because I was hurt that I couldn't help them. He goes, I lived a dream at the biggest club in the world. I played for England in major tournaments. At United, I won trophies, most notably the Premier League in Fergie's final season. It's not a time to be sad. It's a time to look back for me and my family and be happy that I managed to live a dream at Man United. That he did. But there must be so much disappointment and it is really, really tragic. And I suppose that's kind of like the dark side to sport, football, all those kind of things. Us as fans, and I'm sure We've all been guilty of it, and we all will be again in the future. You kind of look at players sometimes when they're injured and think, oh, for fuck's sake. But really, you don't look at the side where these lot are probably going through hell every time they get injured again. But yeah, sad times. Anyway, good luck to him, whatever he decides to do. There's that clip of me going around where I once said he'd be United or England captain. But you know what? Don't regret it. Good luck, Phil. Anyway, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that jazz. See you in a bit.